Welcome to the monthly market report for March of 2022. My name is Rick Annunziata, Vessenar Properties, and I'm thrilled to be here today to talk about three of the most important topics in the housing market. We're going to go over home prices and answer the question, are home prices accelerating? We're going to talk about supply and demand and how that is impacting home price appreciation today. And then we're going to wrap up on net worth as we talk about some of the long-term financial benefits of owning a home. You know, a lot of things have changed in the housing market, and I think one of the biggest things is the change in home price appreciation. So that's where I want to start today and really reflect on what's happened over the past couple of years. In 2020, CoreLogic said that we had a 6% home price appreciation throughout the year. And that's pretty significant. If you think about the prior to the pandemic, a more normal year of home price appreciation was about 3.8%. So 6% is really significant. And, you know, we all saw that continue and unfold in 2021 as we saw home price appreciation that was more than double that. So really significant home price appreciation over the past 2 years. And that is largely due to supply and demand. More buyers in the market than we've had homes available. So I want to walk you through this and what it means going forward as we look at the home price forecast as well. And I think one of the best places to start is with a deep dive into home price appreciation last year. So the answer to the question, are home prices still accelerating, is yes. And we can look at this graph and see home price percent year after year price increases by month, going all the way back to January of 2021. So if we look over on the left side in January of 21, we saw 10% home price appreciation. So year after year, year over year, from January of 2020 to January of 2021, home prices increased by 10%. And then as you can see month over month, it really started to accelerate throughout the year. Now when we hit summer, you see July, August, and so forth. It started to level out at about 18%. Very significant home price appreciation. That's when we started having the conversation and we started hearing experts saying a home price is going to decelerate, meaning continue to increase, but just at a slower pace. And the reality of it is we saw that kind of 18% hold steady for a while. And then into December and January of 2022, which we can see at the latest data we have, that green bar is showing that home prices are starting to tick back up again. And that's because, again, a direct result of high buyer demand and low supply. So buyers are really competing for homes, and that's causing home prices to tick up. Now, if we look at this on a state-by-state basis, this is a really interesting map. It shows changes in prices in the last year from FHFA. And this is really interesting because what we can see is that FHFA shows that the national average is 17.5% home price appreciation last year. Now, some states were higher, some states were lower. You can see that across the board, but the reality of it is we didn't have depreciation in any state. Home prices were rising throughout the country. Again, a direct result of supply and demand. So where we can break this down even further, really interesting if we look at the past 5 years. National average over the last 5 years was 54.5% home price appreciation. That's incredible. So as inventory is low and buyer demand is high, this is what we have started to see year after year, an ever increasing home price appreciation. And that really exploded in 2021. But if you look back at the last 5 years, home price appreciation has been incredibly significant. Now, where this gets even more interesting is if we look at the past 30 years. So changes in prices since 1991 here. If you go all the way back 30 years, the national average is 258% home price appreciation. That is massive. So this becomes a really important conversation as we meet with clients who are saying is now a good time to buy. Should I buy a home? Am I buying at the top of the market? Is my home investment going to be a valuable one? And if we could go back 30 years and we could look over time, I would ask the question, if you could go back and buy a house in 1991, would you do it? I think looking at the data, you would. The answer is clear. Home prices have definitely appreciated in value and been historically a very strong investment. And the question becomes, as people are trying to decide, but what's the next move going forward? What's going to happen throughout the rest of this year? Well, we have to look at the home price forecast for 2022. And this is a chart that we like to show a lot because it averages out what the experts are saying. We follow 7 key entities who forecast out home prices throughout the rest of the year. And when you average those together in the green bar, you can see they're projecting roughly 6.1% appreciation through the rest of this year. So CoreLogic is on the high end with 9.6. Zelman's in the low end right now with 3%. But the reality of it is all of the experts are saying that home values are projected to continue increasing throughout the year. And that, again, a direct result of supply and demand. And the reality of it is we are likely going to see these forecasted in an upward direction going forward as we continue to have low inventory in the market. There's a nod towards more sellers coming to the market this spring in more new construction. And that could all ease some of this home price appreciation as more inventory is available. But what we're seeing is experts are all projecting home prices to rise. So I want to stop here for a moment and talk about supply and demand, because you've heard me mention this several times, that the inventory and the supply and demand balance is really what determines where home prices go. And I think this next graph is a really good foundational element to start that conversation. And this is how the market impacts, or inventory impacts, home prices. So right now we are squarely in what you would call a seller's market. We've all heard this and we've all felt this. And that's what you can see there over in the blue bar. Essentially, it means more buyers in the market than homes available for sale. They're competing for homes. That's driving prices up. That's the general law of supply and demand. Anytime there are more buyers for an item than there are people selling that item, prices will continue to rise because people are willing to pay more for them. Now, a neutral market is where this kind of balances out. In a buyer's market is where there are more homes available than buyers interested in purchasing them. So that caused prices to do what? Well, to decline. So we're in a seller's market today. And I think the question people want to know is, what does this mean from a listing perspective? We look at the number of listings in the market. We've heard that inventory is historically low. But what does that really look like? So I'm going to show you right now new listings. And they are actually falling dramatically right now. This is a look at 2021 by month by month. New listings coming to the market in thousands. And what you can really see over on the right side is October, November, December, listings really started to decline once again. So not as many listings coming to the market towards the end of the year. Now, this is pretty typical for the housing market because we generally see listings softening in the winter and then picking back up. And you can see that, they definitely follow that trend over the past year. So that brought us really to this historically low inventory. And what I'd like to show here is that active listings are also dropping again. So what we have again, October, November, December, active listings towards the end of the year, they're falling. And this means that homes are selling just as fast as they're coming to the market. So buyers are in high demand. There aren't enough homes in the market. They're not staying in the market. They're not staying active as listings because they're going into pending and sold so quickly. So the reality is, anytime we start to see inventory low like this and prices starting to rise, when people hear that prices are rising so significantly, and inventory is certainly driving this in today's market, and as prices are so high, people start to wonder about the housing market. And people remember what happened when the housing market crashed. They remember prices skyrocketing, and they worry about a housing bubble. All the leading experts contend we're definitely not heading in that direction. We are in an entirely different market today than we were in 2008. We hit a record high, a 15-year record of existing home sales in 2021. So this is the number of existing home sales from 2019 to 2020 and 21. You can see 2019 was 5.3 million sales. We broke that record in 2020 at 5.6 million. In 21, just crushed that with 6.1 million homes sold in the country. So what does that say? That says that buyers are out there, they're looking for homes, they're purchasing homes, and they're actively in the process. So we have high buyer demand, we have low inventory, significantly different fundamental than where the housing market was when the bubble burst in 2008. And the truth is that the people who are purchasing these homes can't afford them this time around. And I say that because I want to share this data here that shows you, credit scores are nothing like the last time either. This is the volume of loans in billions with a credit score less than 620. So take a look at those orange bars, 2003 to 2007. Significantly more loans issued to buyers who had a credit score less than 620 than we are now, where we are now. So 2008 to 2021, you can see that those lending standards have gotten much tighter, meaning that buyers are essentially showing the credentials that they're able to afford their home, and that's what's leading to the loan opportunities. So very different lending standards are creating a landscape that's nothing like the real estate collapse in 2008. Credit scores are definitely tighter this time around. And if you're worried also about any other fundamentals of the market, let's think about equity for a second. Homeowners have a significantly higher equity in their homes today. So they're in a much better financial position as homeowners in this process. The data simply shows that we're not headed for a foreclosure crisis either. We won't see a wave of inventory coming to the market that is going to significantly tip the scales into a buyer's market. There just aren't enough homes going into foreclosure. And we're so grateful for that, right? Because that means more and more people are staying in their homes. So the fundamentals of this market are really a lot different. And the reality is we know that people still have concerns. We want to ease those fears. We want to make sure people understand what the data is saying when it comes to understanding the housing market and having that confidence today. Because as people see prices rise, they start to fear this is just like the last time. And it simply isn't. I think this is a really important conversation that we have with our clients who are potentially still renting right now and thinking about, I could buy a home. I'm thinking about it, but I'm watching prices rise. I'm not sure I should buy right now. I'm concerned that there's a bubble. But truth be told, we want to have that conversation around net worth because that's really important. Because net worth is a game changer. And the data that I'm about to show you really paints a very strong picture for homeowners or potential homeowners when they're thinking about long-term financial benefits of owning a home. There's the stability, the security, that emotional American dream of home ownership. That's so important. As this quote says, with inventory at an all-time low, buyers are still having a difficult time finding a home. So as you know, they're feeling like, I'm not sure that I want to stay in the game because it's a tough road right now and prices are rising. I'm having a hard time finding a home. One thing that we really want to share with those people who could be potentially buying right now is the net worth of a homeowner versus a renter. And this is the data from last year, from 2021, the latest from the National Association of Realtors. It shows that the average net worth of a homeowner today is $300,000. The average net worth of a renter is just $8,000. Think about that for a second. $300,000 versus $8,000. If we're talking about building that financial future and really thinking towards that long-term goal of home ownership, and we look at the data, the history that shows how much homes are appreciated over the last 5 to 30 years even, that's differentiator of net worth. There's really something we really want to remind people of, especially for those that are renting. And they're thinking, I could buy right now, but I'm going to wait. I'm going to see if prices fall. I'm going to see if mortgage rates drops. We know we're not in an environment that's projected that to happen. So buying now and getting that net worth journey started towards home ownership is such a game changer for the future. And I think another way to look at that, this is a really powerful one as well. It says that the net worth of a typical homeowner is about 40 times the net worth of a renter. 40 times. That's huge. So the numbers don't lie. And they can really help drive some powerful conversations when we have potential buyers who are trying to decide, is this the time for me to buy? Now, we know everyone purchases a home at a different time for a different reason. They're financially and emotionally ready at different moments, and that's okay. But we like being able to share this data so our clients can make the most powerful and confident decisions possible. It's really important. And don't forget that our spring and seller's buyer's guides are available on our website's frequently asked questions page. And I hope you've enjoyed this video, and I hope it helps you out. And we'll talk again soon. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.